Hey everybody, today I'm bringing you Dr. Ariela Freedman. She is the owner and founder of Maventree Consulting, and she's a certified positive discipline classroom educator and a Gallup-Certified strengths coach. And I'm bringing her on here because she helped my team, it was probably a little over a year ago, with our Strength Finders, and I wanted to find a way to lead my team in a positive manner, and it really affected how our team functions. We still use all of our strengths in our team meetings, and it's just been such a great impact on focusing on the things people are good at rather than the things that people are not good at, which we do so often. And I thought she could give us some ideas how to be positive during this quarantine situation, but talk about her business and what she does. So welcome, and Ariela, tell us a little bit about you.
Great, thank you. Like Lauren said, I am a Gallup-Certified strengths coach, and so a lot of what I do is help people understand what are you great at and where do you get your energy from and how to lean into those things. So I do that one-on-one with people as a coach, and then I also do that with teams. And so a team could be the people that you work with, or it could be the people that you are living with right now too. So sometimes I do work with couples. It's not couples counseling, but it's really couples coaching. And helping people understand what they need, being able to talk about those things, and really form strong partnerships. I also do a lot of work with people around understanding your kids and how to work well with your kids. Sometimes that's setting boundaries, being really clear about expectations, knowing where to put your energy in and where not to put your energy into. And then I'm also an artist and a singer. So I do a lot of work around creativity and hearing your voice and expressing yourself. So all of that kind of falls into the same type of package, just different methods to do it.
Awesome. Awesome. And so what is when you talk about positive discipline, like what are some things that people can use, and how do you help them with that?
So there are a couple aspects with positive discipline. It's something that teachers use in creating a classroom environment, and then it's also something that parents use in creating their home environment. And I also do a lot of work with people who are coaches, who aren't in a classroom and also aren't at home, but people who work with kids in those other places. So there are a couple principles of positive discipline that are really helpful. One of them is balancing being kind and firm. So that's balancing knowing when to be really clear about discipline and structure, and then when to be a little looser about things. And I think that's a really helpful thing to be thinking about in a time of quarantine, is being super clear with your kids and the people around you. You know what, this one is a firm boundary. I'm not going to budge on that.
Mm-hmm.
Or these are the requirements and it's going to have to look like this. And then here are the spaces where it's like giving lots of love and affection and appreciation, and me being less focused on the discipline. Another principle that goes with that is filling the bucket. And so if you think of each person's emotions and feelings like a bucket and being filled with positivity, every time you're doling out a compliment or saying something supportive, or I love you, or giving a hug, or making someone feel good, you're filling the bucket. And that's what we want, is to fill each other's buckets and not to be dipping things and spilling things out of each other's buckets. And the fuller that our buckets are, the happier we are, and the better that we work together as a team. I can send you some links too for positive discipline. It's an awesome approach that just focuses on building positive places where people can thrive.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that would be great. We can put that in our in the links after the show. Cool. So going back to the Strength Finders, I think one of the biggest things that take homes I took from it is that for those that haven't done the Strength Finders test, essentially it looks at what we did, our top 5 strengths. And what I loved was just the fact that we don't look at, a strength a strength could be a weakness, but we look at it more as a turning up or turning down of a strength in different situations. And we have to balance that depending on our team and the environment that we're in. So explain that a little bit, how people can tune them up or tune them down.
Sure. So the way that the Gallup's test works is that you get back 5 of your top 34 strengths, or you can pay the extra money and get all 34. And the strengths fall into 4 categories. And so those 5 strengths, the top ones, can fall across these 4 categories. So the first category is executing. So people who have a lot of strengths there, they like getting things done. Just leave me alone, let me get it done. The second category is influencing. So the joke in my family, I actually have 3 of my top 5 there. I don't actually do anything. I get other people to do it. But what that really means is I like working with other people to do things. The third category is relationship building. So building deep relationships with people for the enjoyment of the relationship. And then the fourth category is strategic thinking. So it's liking having time and space to think. So people fall across that spectrum. I have friends that have all of their strengths in one of those categories, which means they really need those things. I'll give you an example of one of my strengths in terms of knowing how to use it. So one of my top strengths is activator. My vocal coach calls it my Maserati, as in it's just like full speed ahead. I want to just do things. I don't necessarily want to sit and think about it. I come up with an idea and I just want to do it.
Mhm.
So for example, this last weekend, we decided to turn my daughter's playroom into a sewing studio for her. And I did it in 2 days. I just did it. And I learned as I went, and, I made some mistakes and put some holes in the walls that didn't need to be there, but it turned out awesome. That's how I operate. I just learn as I go. I like to start things. I don't always have the energy to finish them, but I like to start them. In contrast to somebody else who's more strategic thinking that might say, let me sit down. I want to plan this all out. I want to maybe sketch it out. I want to think deeply about it. It's a different kind of energy. And so what I would say about that is that with your strengths, you need to know when you need more of one and less of one. So with my activator, it works great for home projects because I'm by myself. When I'm working in a team and I'm in activator mode, I don't have a lot of patience for people who want to sit down and talk about all the ideas. I just want to get to doing the ideas.
Mhm.
So I have to learn how to dial up and dial down my strengths based on different circumstances. And it's also about knowing where you get your energy from too. And I think we'll talk about that a little bit more in terms of suggestions about how to lean into your strengths during this crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I know for me, looking at my two strengths, it was individualization and analyzer. We're always like running a business. We're always in contrast because I wanted to make everybody happy and I would listen to them and empathize. And I had to tell them sometimes, guys, I really care about you and what you're thinking, but I have to analyze how the business is being run. And I got to make decisions that are in the best interest of my business. And we're all in it together, but I'm not, discrediting what you're feeling and all of that. And so they kind of understood, that, okay, I'm, especially because I'm, was kind of like the mama bear of the group. And so they wanted to come to me and me to give them, some individualized attention, so to speak. So that was really one thing I, kept going back and forth and trying to explain to them why I was making different decisions in certain situations. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. So as you alluded to, what can you give tips for being positively quarantined during this time? What would you recommend to your clients and anybody out there?
So I saw this phrase spray painted on a sidewalk a few years ago, and I've just adopted it, and it is protect your magic.
Okay.
I talk about this with people all the time. Protect your magic. Think about what gives you energy and what drains you, and focus on leaning into the spaces where you get energy from, and then leave the spaces alone that are draining to you, because that's kind of all we have. That's the biggest currency we have right now is our energy. And if you think about energy as currency, you have to think about where can you put it to get a good return on investment. I was talking with somebody this morning who's trying to start a business, and she just wants to spread seeds everywhere. And I was like, water the seeds in the places with fertile soil. Don't water all of the seeds, just water the ones where things are actually starting to grow. There's a lot that people are saying of, this is a great time to learn a new foreign language or pick up a new skill or do this. Some of us like learning new stuff. Some of us don't. Some of us like to read. Some of us want to be on lots of Zoom calls and connect with people. Rather than listening to the advice of other people, I would just say, listen to your body, listen to where the times where you feel excited and energized and the times where you feel drained and exhausted, and follow the places where you get your energy from. You can get that from strengths. It's definitely something I talk about, but you can get that just by hearing your own self. And I think that tuning into your own frequency is probably the best way to get into this, because only you know what's good for you. And to me, looking at the strengths approach, it really says everybody's different. And that we might be different on different days and different circumstances, and just allowing ourselves the flexibility to change and change what we want on each day too. We're not always going to be that consistent.
Right. No, I love that. Protect your magic. I like that. Yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely give everybody time to be a little bit more introspective in their life because the busyness is taken out of it. So I think you're right. Like wherever your energy leads you and you feel good about that
Mhm.
is where you should go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, cool. Well, are you offering any sort of promotions or things for people to kind of get through this time and help them along?
Yeah. So usually I do strengths coaching sessions with people that are an hour and a half. And so usually they're $150 for a 90-minute session. But it's just, that's not realistic for most people. So I've
Mhm.
actually just started to think of some new specials. And so I'm going to be doing hour-long coaching sessions with people for $60. So 60 minutes, $60. And that includes your strengths code if you haven't yet taken Strengths Finder and any materials. So if people want to do those with another person and you want to double them up, an hour long is a little short. If you wanted to do two people, it's good for one person. But if you wanted to double it up and do it with a partner or somebody else in your house or a team member, that
Mhm.
would be great. And we can just put those back to back. I've been doing those with people and it's really helpful at figuring out where is the friction coming from? What's
Uh-huh.
the language around it? How do we navigate it? Really all the work I do with the strengths coach is building on what is working and moving it forward. It's not therapy. I don't fix broken things. I help take the energy again where there's energy and move that
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
So I'm doing those things with folks, and I also have these art night to go boxes. So I have an
Mhm.
art studio in my house, and it's a cigar box that is filled with all kinds of art supplies you can use to decorate it, and those are $10 each. So
Oh, I love it. I love the creativity piece of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, and I think that's like a great value, the coaching session, because like I said, the strength finders really opened my eyes to what my strengths were and how I could use them most effectively.
mhm.
So I encourage everybody to take advantage of that because it was worth it for me. Um, awesome. Well, tell everybody where how can they find you? What's your website? And do you have Instagram and Facebook?
I do. So you can find me at www.maventreeconsulting.com, and that's
Okay.
Maventree consulting.com. And my Instagram is Maventree18. And then you can also look up Maventree Consulting on Facebook too. I'm not super active on either of those, but you can find things on my website, also LinkedIn as well.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and telling us about Maventree Consulting and all that you do. I think there's a lot that people can gain from this, and I hope they take advantage of what you're offering. So thank you, Ariela, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks. Thank you, Lauren.